Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Adrodals Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Swedish auto-reloading tech tree heavy tank, the Kranvagn. This vehicle, when I made my tier list, fit into the super strong category, at least in my eyes. However, the majority of comments I read in the video's description of people disagreeing with where I would put certain tanks had to do with the Kran not being in super strong and more being in the good or strong category. In today's video, I'll be explaining not only why this is an absolutely fantastic take, but as well what you might be doing wrong in the vehicle, because I can tell you for a fact that the Kran is one of the most misplayed tanks in the battlefield for two reasons. First of all, the gun's clipping capabilities, but second of all, how you use the armor. I cannot tell you how many people I see using the Kran on flat ground, misusing the tank's capabilities, and then getting mad at the vehicle when really this is only a tank that should be used when it comes to your turret armor and nothing else. So we're going to start off with the gun of this tank, and it's a pretty solid gun overall. It's got pretty poor DPM base at 2048. However, its aiming time is fantastic at 3.2 seconds, and its dispersion is also pretty solid at 0.326. When you add that into the fact that this tank can feature a clip that does 1200 damage and deal all of that damage in 6 seconds, that's pretty dang impressive, especially when you realize that the DPM actually is not as bad as it looks on paper. If you get the third shell, the second shell, and the first shell all loaded in the vehicle, which takes about 30-ish seconds, when you get the full clip loaded and you dump it and then you use this vehicle as a single shot, you have 1200 damage and then about 2000 damage per minute on that after, which means you have a potential of 3000-ish damage per minute if you dump your clip and shoot as a single shot. That makes you very, very hard to deal with in a 1 versus 1 engagement, especially if you use this tank the way I try and use it, which is only using shell 3. The third shell is the last one you'll load in your clip, so it'll take 12.5 seconds to load the first one, 8.79 for the second, and then 7.87 for the third. When you shoot the third, you're going to have a 3-second interclip, which means that it's actually going to take 10.87 seconds to load in that shell. However, that's a heck of a lot faster than the 12.5 it takes for the first shell. So the best way to use this vehicle is to shoot your opponent as a single shot until they are low enough, and then you'll reload that final shell and dump the entire clip into them, finishing them off. That's how you should use the Kran. Now, not in every situation am I going to do that. There might be some situations where it's easier just to go bang, bang, bang into my opponent and back in the cover, because not every time are you going to be able to just shoot your opponent over and over and over. So it's really down to the situation I'm stuck in, but overall, it's a very, very flexible gun if you use it correctly, and that's why auto-reloaders are super nice. When it comes to the damage per shot, really good at 400, because it does get a clip after all, and its penetration is 271 on the standard and 374 on the heat, so it doesn't lack in penetration, it doesn't lack in DPM, at least if you use it correctly, its accuracy is fine, and the alpha is good as well because it's an auto-loader, 9 degrees of gun depression, and when it comes to the mobility, while it only goes 30 kilometers per hour, this tank can go in reverse at 18 kilometers per hour, and it gets better than that because you can also run super speed boost on this tank, allowing you to go 28 in reverse if you save it for a situation where you need to get back in the cover very fast. Super speed boost is also great for early game positioning because it gives you a power to weight much better than the average tier 10 heavy at a top speed upwards of 35. It's not the fastest heavy out there, I will definitely admit that, but it's fast enough to get the job done, and it's got a good enough power to weight to get from point A to point B fairly fast. Now, when it comes to provisions, you can run enhanced sandbag, which can increase your hit points by about 210 up to about 2,700. Personally, I don't see the point of it. I run food, and fuel. The food is really good because you can see it makes your auto-reloading time about 0.4 seconds faster when it comes to the entire clip. And when you add on the other food, it's actually quite a big difference. So personally, I think food is a better option rather than getting more hit points on a vehicle that doesn't necessarily need the hit points due to its playstyle. So let's get into some gameplay and see just exactly how this tank can play. And I should also point out that the Kran is one of my highest performing vehicles in tier 10, with about 900 games if I'm not mistaken, 76% win rate, and 3,500 average damage. Those are absolutely crazy statistics, and while all those statistics may not have been gathered during the latest patch of the game, it still showcases that the Kran has some pretty good merits when it comes to its capabilities on the battlefield. Even more than that, the Kran right now is actually back in full swing when it comes to comp. You'll see quite a few of them rolling around in the comp battlefield. Now personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the Kran in comp. I feel there's better vehicles that have more DPM and mobility, but it is still a tank that is very good at being an anchor. Alright, here we are, battle number 1 on Middleburg. And Middleburg is not the best map in the game, but it is a map that I can use my gun depression as long as our team goes up. So I'm going to tell them to go up. I normally don't do this, but it is quite an important thing to do. So I'm going to make my way over towards the hill, and once we get up to the tricky part of the hill, I'm going to use my super speed boost. And now personally, I always use my super speed boost in the beginning of the battle, because it means in the game I will get it back sooner. So that's something I always give advice for. But as you can see, I'm climbing up this hill fairly fast, which is something that it is very, very good at. So we're going to make our way all the way up this hill, but our Foch has decided to go to A. He has just killed himself, essentially. It doesn't appear that many opponents are at C as of now, because our AMX 50B is in the front line and hasn't detected anything or even been spotted. So, yeah, our Foch is dead, but honestly that's completely his fault. He shouldn't have gone there. Let's see what we can do here. So there's the enemy 268. I'm just kind of hoping that somebody pushes over here. Hello. Oh, there's the 92E1. Not sure why he went over here. That's definitely a mistake on his part, but okay, there's the 92. Interesting. Maybe I can get a shell to him right. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to, but he kind of stopped. Well, even though this game's not looking great for our team, we actually did manage to lower their hit points because of that 92E1 killing himself. So it's basically an eye for an eye, especially because that Foch was actually able to get a little chunk of damage out. Now, this is where I don't love using the Kron. We're on flat ground, which is definitely not the best type of situation for a Kron. However, as long as you're able to use that gun correctly, there's 1 shell into our opponent and 2 shells into our opponent. E100 shoots my teammate, and this here is a perfect example of where you can dump your clip. That right there is 1,293 damage we were able to deal. And even though my DPM is not nearly as high as it would have been if I had shot this vehicle as a single shot, it doesn't really matter, because all we need to do is reload our clip and we're already in cover. Now the bad news is that my 4005 is a 1 shot. I don't even know how that's possible, but he is. We're going to reload again. We got a couple more seconds left. Hello, Mr. E50. How are you doing? Here we are. 3, a 2, a 1, and there you go. 1 bonk into the E50, and this is where I'm going to get that second shell in as well. It's a lot smarter to only dump 2 shells into his tank, because as I said earlier, you want to make sure that you have the damage per minute to kill an opponent when the reload is ready. So this E50 is running. We're going to see if we can get an HE in. Unfortunately, we can't, but you know what? I'll get 1 shell into his tank. And at this point, I'm just going to pull forwards away from the E3. I don't even know what the E3 is doing there, to be real. I'm very, very confused on why he has decided to position his tank in such an awkward spot. But we're going to get... Whoa, okay. Interesting. I have nothing else to say but interesting. Alright, well, once again, we just reload. It's not like it's going to matter all too much. We got 2 more seconds left on our shell, and looks like our team's just going to get to the side of him here anyway. Here we are reloading again. 3, a 2, a 1, and there is 1 bonk into the enemy E3, and a 2 bonks into the E3, and I'm not sure why he turned towards me rather than the 4005, but I want to point out, we did 3,200 damage. On a battle that we were on flat ground, when you don't really feel all too comfortable in the Kron, it was still very easy to deal 3,000 damage. Not only that, but we assisted 673, so almost 4,000 combined. Pretty solid battle overall for the tank. You can definitely see where it has merits for doing even fine on flat. It's really down to where you position the vehicle and how you use the gun. If you use the tank incorrectly and you don't manage your shells well against your opponents, the tank's not going to do all too well. But if you manage to think, okay, I can dump a full clip into the C100 and I've got plenty of cover behind me, you're going to be fine. It's when you dump your clip in the open and you don't have cover, you're going to start to run into some problems. So, here we are. Second battle. We've got an enemy IS-7, we got a Stritzvon K, and a Type 71. The great thing is that I got plenty of pen to cut through the Type and IS-7. We're going to use our super speed boost once again right at the beginning of this battle, allowing me to very quickly accelerate into position. Even though I have the same top speed as the VK72 and E100, I'm very easily, as you can see with speed boost, able to out-accelerate them and get a little bit ahead at the beginning of this battle. So that is one thing that's very, very nice. nice. What's not nice is that these two guys are going towards A, which is not where you want to go on a map like this. You always want to go towards B and then make your way towards C, because they got a lot more mobile heavies than us, being the IS-7 and Type, which means we might just lose this. Oh, there's the STRVK. Not able to get a shell into him. He does have super speed boost after all as well, so a bit unfortunate for me, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Oh my, I got absolutely ripped off there. Okay, well, we got the STRVK, who we got one shell into very easily, and we got the TVP, but I'm not going to shoot him. What is this STRVK doing, bro? I'm just gonna wait here, and we'll see if I can reload my shell and get another one into him. There you go. Bonk. There you are. Another nice shell into the STRVK, and bonk. There you go. That is where being an auto-reloader, once again, feels very, very strong. We were able to absolutely chunk a 1,300 hit point pool deficit off of that poor STRVK, and that's going to help out our super heavies that have pushed over towards A side a lot. While driving in a position, we are reloading our clip, and this is something that I really, really like about auto-reloaders, is that the majority of time you don't even lose a lot of DPM because you're just getting in the position rather than doing anything else. So STRVK is gone. I don't need to worry about him anymore. I do have to be cautious about somebody sitting behind this Type, but I'm not all too worried. Let's see if we can get any damage in. Wow, that turret is so troll on the Type. It's definitely a turret that I'm a little cautious about in a lot of situations. There's the TVP off to the side, and we're just going to get a big ol' slap into that TVP. There you go. No more TVP to deal with. There's a nice shell into the Type 71 once, and once again, I don't need to shoot my shells. This is what's great about this tank. I would lose DPM if I actually shoot that Type in this situation here, so it's a lot smarter just to do what I'm doing here and not shoot my shells. Then there you go, get another easy shell into the Type once. He's going to turn his turret to the side. Unfortunately, we actually didn't get any damage in there because my teammate finished him off right before we shot, but we got our super speed boost back, so I'm going to apply it and make our way into the position faster. Okay. Well, I guess I don't have super speed boost because my teammate's going to block me. Where are you going? Okay. I'm gonna calm down. I get mad when teammates make me go slow when I shouldn't be going slow. But the great thing, once again, about the Kron is that we are reloading our shells anyway in a situation like this, so it doesn't really matter all too much. You'll notice that Yag didn't even bother shooting me with an AP shell. He just fired HE, and sure, it rolled about 400-ish, but doesn't really matter all too much when we still easily can just reload our clip once again. So we got the grill, and we're going to get one shell into the grill. Then we're going to try and turn and maybe get a shell into this IS-7 over here. So let's load in a heat shell. There you go. Nice, easy heat shell. And all that's left at this point is the enemy 4005, who is dead. So very, very easy game, as you can see, for the Kron once again. The gun is great. The armor gets the job done. I think that this is a fantastic vehicle. We did 3,700 damage in this game. A lot of people underestimate this tank, and it is a super strong vehicle. It's really all there is to say. So, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. But yeah, I really like the Kron. And if you try to make the argument that these are cherry-picked games, they're not. You can see them right here. They're the only two battles I played in the tank. Earlier today, I recorded a battle on the 5A. So, yeah, I really like the Kron. Absolutely amazing. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.